If you're feeling agitated, emotional, or like something's shifting inside of you, it might not be a breakdown, but a breakthrough. Hey, 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 my friend. Welcome back to the Cosmic Mystic. Danny C. Muniz here. And in today's message, this is for the part of you that's been sitting with an uncomfortable truth, the kind that doesn't let you unknow it, the kind that rattles your ego and liberates your soul. My friend, this is the one that asks you to stop pretending. But here's what most people aren't going to tell you about this: truth doesn't always arrive wrapped in a beautiful bow of clarity and confidence. Truth can sometimes arrive through chaos, through disruption, through resistance, through grief. And that doesn't mean that something's wrong, something's off. It means something real is trying to surface, a deeper knowing of self. My friend, one of the very first times that I did a somatic breathwork journey, this was a 60-minute journey. I spent the first couple of rounds just in this trying to get it right, trying to breathe correctly, trying to listen to what the practitioner was saying. And in that last final round, in the very first half of the breath work, I was pushing myself because I wasn't feeling anything. And we got to the first breath hold. And all of a sudden, we were in this moment of stillness. And all of this information came flooding through. Things that I remembered, being conversations that had been had, things that I had done, all laid out for me as evidence, as proof of a truth that I was not paying attention to. There have been other times where a truth has come to me that stopped like my whole pathway on what I was on, and all of a sudden shifted my whole entire world. This showed up when I would say I was in my early 30s. It was during my Saturn return, and I had went with some friends on a road trip from California to New Orleans, and we were there for Mardi Gras. And while I was there, I received a phone call from my nephew, who was 18 years old at the time, and was telling me about his girlfriend, who was also 18 at the time. They were in their senior year of high school. This was February, so a few months away from graduation, and they were pregnant. And the whole kind of path that he had for himself in getting a full scholarship to college and taking those next steps about becoming, a rocket scientist or an engineer. He had his eyes set on that path, completely changed for him. And there was a truth in there for him. And that moment also caused a truth for me. It caused a truth in the relationship that I had been in for, at this point, about 9 years or almost 9 years. And it was a truth that I had really kind of pushed away. And it became crystal clear in that moment, having that conversation and what transpired after that, that a total disruption needed to happen to my life. But it took me another 10 months to make a move and to actually do something about the truth that I had encountered. Sometimes those truths come in times of stillness. Sometimes they come in times of chaos, in times of disruption, in times of arguments, because that's where it definitely came for me in this particular case. So here's the thing: when we talk about reclaiming our power, we have to talk about reclaiming our truth. But many of us are filtering our voices, our truths. We're shrinking, right, to fit in to places, shrinking our dreams and aspirations. We are choosing what's safe over what's real. It was really safe for me in many ways to stay in the relationship that I had been in. I had been in that relationship for 9 years. Granted, it was not a healthy relationship in any way, shape, or form. And it was not going to help me become a better version of myself. And so there was this safety in it's what I knew, it was what I was comfortable with, right? I had a home, we were engaged, I had a great job in the corporate world. I was making really good money and I had all the safe ideas there. It was really easy to stay there. I had stood there for 9 years up until that point. It was a lot harder for me to leave it. Another way that this kind of showed up for me where I was shrinking was I was on a call one day with a mentor that I had, and it was not a good fit. And I didn't know that at the time, but I would hop on the call with this mentor and some of the other people in this group, and they would start talking about the drama in their lives. And I found myself finding drama in my life or creating drama so that I could feel accepted in this space, that I could feel, right, like we were in alignment. I didn't want to stand out and be like, my life's really great and things are going really good when all of these other people were miserable. This is ways, my friend, that we have given away our power, first off, and we have given away our own truth. So, when we carry these old patterns, we might see this come through in our family beliefs, right? Family beliefs that told us to fit in, that told us to stay small, that told us not to dream big, right? I had a dream as a kid to be a singer, to be a performer. And, when I went to college or actually in high school, when I wanted to go to a performing arts high school, my father was like, not happening. Right. And when I graduated and I wanted to go on cruise ships and perform on cruise ships, my family was like, no, it's not safe to do that. You're 18 years old. You're a young Hispanic woman. We don't do that. Right. And when I was in college and wanting to pursue music, it was, well, maybe you should do this. And then, because if that doesn't work out, right? And so there was these beliefs that my family carried of staying small, despite the fact that they were also telling me to go for my dreams and to be a leader and to stand out. There were still these ideas of being small and that how it wasn't safe to do these things. Identities, right, were shaped more so in survival than they were in liberation. They were in freedom of expression. They were identities that were keeping me safe, keeping me small, keeping me in these spaces so that I could feel big and bold, but in a much smaller way. We also have ancestral trauma that we carried. Maybe in our ancestral lineage, there have been ancestors that were silenced, that didn't feel comfortable expressing themselves, that didn't feel comfortable taking pathways that were true to them and having to right? Cut off those desires, cut off those beliefs. And they are carried through the lineage. They are carried through our parents, our grandparents. If I look at, some of the things that my mother did and my grandmother did and my great grandmother did in relation to what I see now, I can see where some of that was cut off. I can see where some of that was silence. I can see how those generations did the things that they did in order to stay safe, in order to survive in many, many ways. And so, because it happened to them doesn't mean that it's my reality. It doesn't mean that I don't have to stay with that. I don't have to choose those, but I do need to identify them. I do need to be aware of them. I need to be aware of these cycles, these patterns that my family has lived in so that I can be aware that this is something that I might be naturally drawn to so that I can then do something about them, right? In our secret healing spiral, that's the very first step is we've got to have an awareness that something is not quite right? Me recognizing the patterns in my ancestors has helped me understand how that is affecting me here and now, because it is, right? I can say, like, oh, but that was my grandma. It was a different time. Women were different at that time. Relationships were different at that time. The home was different. I can make all these excuses as to why it was for her and not realize how it might still be for me. So, my friend, these patterns are like energetic scripts that we just keep performing and performing and performing long after our reality might be different, or we've outgrown these identities or these roles that we've been playing. These truths that are not really who we are or are clouded by them. So let me say this again. These truths that are not really who we are, or they might be clouded. So oftentimes it's hard to understand what is our own truth because there's these other truths that are clouding our truth from our ancestors, from our environment, from our society, the collective energy. Those beliefs, right, cloud us, and we're thinking, this is my truth. And it might not be because it is being filtered through all these other beliefs. So, your truth, I want you to know this, your truth isn't dangerous. It's not destructive. It's actually freeing. It's actually liberating. This is what we do inside the work I do one-on-one with clients in the inner alchemy method in soul patterning. This is our soul patterning phase where the work that we do is revealing what's been running beneath the surface. Because there's surface level, right? We can think of this from the conscious mind and the subconscious mind idea. There is the surface level or even surface level conversations that we can have. And then there's what's beneath the surface. And when we look at these beliefs, right, and we ask what's on the subconscious level, yes, let's go. What's on the subconscious level? We also look at what is beneath, like, so those subconscious level beliefs or ideas, where are those coming from? Are those coming from the ancestral lineage? Are those coming from our parents? Are those coming from society? Was there a time where it did not feel safe to express our own truth? And are we still stuck in that idea of it is not safe to say our own truth, or we carried that down? I've worked with clients who parents don't feel safe. They don't feel safe. And so they've created this fear within their children, even though their children had no reason, so to speak, right? They weren't in the same environment as their parents, but they're so scared that now they've taken that on for themselves and they're not able to take action on things. They're not able to do things. They're not able to speak up. They're not able to allow their own truth to come through because they are stuck in this belief below the surface that has been passed down from generation to generation. Now, this also can show up in our soul's lineage. So we have our soul's lineage in this lifetime, right, with our ancestors, but we also have other lifetimes that we've had experiences. And there are experiences from these past lives that we are still holding on to, these beliefs of, I've worked with clients where they formed a belief about being in the resistance, and we'll call it the resistance, in a time where they decided to be a soldier in a resistance. And there are some beliefs that they took on about doing that in the way in which it happened in that lifetime, that they are now using, believing, acting from in this life. So one of the things that, as we do some deeper inner work, and we do this on the soul level, right? Because we don't only touch the mind, we also touch on the body and the soul. And we look at all three. So we're not just looking at what is the subconscious telling me, but we're looking at how is that connected to our soul? Is that an ancestral, right? A societal, a generational? Is it a past life? Is it all of them? And why this is such a thing that is so hard for us to move past? So you might be like, okay, how do we do this, Danny? How do I get down and start living from my truth again? Or for the first time ever? Well, here's what you do. First off, you start to notice when your body tenses, feels off in response to something that maybe once felt normal. And I'm going to use this in quotations for those of you listening on the podcast, normal. There are times where we have been in situations like, this is just what happens. This is just normal. That was me in my 10-year relationship. There were things that would happen. And I'm like, this is normal. This is what happens. Although my body would reject it, although I didn't quite, like, there was a lot of stress, right? I was depressed for 2 years and didn't even know I was depressed because it was normal. This was normal. So I want you to notice when your body is getting tense or tight, or you start, I have clients sometimes where their hands will cramp up because their tension that they feel, or their shoulders, right, will rise. They stop breathing. They tighten up, right? It might be subtle, it might be more drastic. Pay attention. This is why we do the daily somatic awareness practice. This is why we do the daily somatic breathwork practices, to notice our body, what is happening in our body. Pay attention. Your body always knows, my friend. The second thing I would say is to get curious. Get curious when you feel drained. Get curious when you feel dysregulated. Get curious when certain conversations or certain environments create these feelings within you. If you go to something and immediately you're feeling dysregulated, you're feeling all over the place, you can't sit still, that is a key sign that that environment or that situation or that conversation or that scrolling on social media did not serve you. It dysregulated you. It harmed you. It took your power away. The next thing I would say is stop editing. Stop editing to make it more pleasing. Stop editing to make it more acceptable. Stop editing your truth. Your truth is your truth, my friend. Your truth is your truth. It is nobody else's. If you and I can encounter the same situation. I really saw this when I was in corporate in the banking industry. Luckily, luckily, there was never a robbery at gunpoint. Luckily, although I had been in branches where that had been the case in the past. Luckily, I never had to encounter that. We did encounter some other situations, but luckily, I never had to encounter that. But in the training that we got, that was one of the things that immediately came up. And I had to, as a manager, had to go through with my staff to make sure everybody was prepared for a situation like that to happen. And one of the things that they said in that training is that we will all encounter the same experience. However, how we perceive that experience is going to be completely different, which is one of the reasons why, as immediately after it happens, everybody is always asked to write down anything and everything that they can remember, not talking to other people, not going and doing anything other than grabbing a piece of paper and writing everything down. Why do you think they wanted us to do that? Because we all experienced something different. Our perspective, our literal perspective might have been different. The person who this robber might have been right in front of versus the person who was in the back room versus the person who was in an office on the other side of the building had a different perspective. The way in which that person sounded might be completely different to the person who was to the left of them or who was behind them. It's the same idea, my friend. My truth is my truth. We all, even though we all experienced the same thing, how we talk about it, how we perceive it is all different. But each one of us, that is our truth. Another way is to ask yourself, is this mine? Or is this somebody else's? Did I inherit this from my mother, my father, my family, society, my friends? When I was in that situation that I mentioned earlier with my mentor and this group, and they were talking about their drama, and then I started to look for ways in which I had drama too, how I was experiencing this just like they were. I had to stop. And what really helped me was ask myself, like, did I just create that? Like, it wasn't, I didn't think that was drama, or I didn't think that, right? Like, I had to stop and say, did I create drama out of this because I wanted to fit in? Was I trying to take on what they were doing? Or was it actually drama? Like, and I just didn't realize it was drama. I had to sit with that and ask myself, what was it for me? Sometimes we are picking these things up. And so ask yourself, is this mine? And go deep, mine. Is this mine? Because I would say, yeah, it is mine. That situation happened. Is this the way in which I encountered it? Like, let's get to fact. My emotions drive me a lot. And so I always have to remember to come back to truth. What is fact? I say this a lot to my clients and like, well, so and so did this and so did that. And then there was this and then there was that. And I'm like, okay, hold on. There was a whole lot that happened. What do you know to be true? Right? Because it's like, well, she said, did you actually hear this person say this? Well, no. But so and so told me that they said it because, and there's like, okay, we know a conversation between two people happened. We don't know what was actually said because we're hearing this hearsay. We did not hear this. This person did not ask for this, or this person did not do this. What they actually did was this. Go back to truth, my friend. Truth can be like a whisper. It's soft, it's gentle, and it packs a punch. It can feel like a punch to the gut because it's something that you know that you're allowing yourself, right? When we get quiet enough, still enough, it speaks, it shares. And many of us are scared. We're scared to slow down. We're scared to sit in stillness because we're scared to hear that truth. What if, though? Because I know, my friend, I know because I had these same questions. What if, Danny, the truth, my truth, hurts other people? Oh, I love this question because there's what I would call the healed truth versus revenge. Now, if I am speaking my truth because I am trying to get revenge, I'm trying to pay somebody back. That's an unhealed truth, right? That's not a healed truth. An unhealed truth where I'm seeking this revenge from somebody, where I'm going to tell you my truth. I'm going to lay my truth out there, right? That's somebody who got triggered, right? And is acting from this place of being triggered. When we talk about a healed truth, we're talking about somebody who has gone through and really came to a place of their truth. And when you come to a place of your truth, the way in which it is expressed, the way in which it is put out there is coming from love and compassion. It's not coming from revenge or anger or frustration. And you'll notice the difference. If I speak my truth about something, I'm coming from a place of love and compassion around it. I'm not coming at you because I want you to know what my truth is. I'm not coming at you out of revenge. I'm coming with, I'm standing in my power. I'm standing aligned in what I know. And I'm sharing that from a place with love and compassion. What if I don't even know what my truth is yet, Danny? What if I don't know what my truth is yet? That is why we clear the old stories so that we can hear your truth. This is why we regulate our nervous system. This is why we do the breath work. This is why we do meditation. This is why we do journaling. We clear out the old ideas, the old stories, the old beliefs, so we can allow our truth to come through. Now, what if I hear my truth, Danny, but I'm afraid to act on it? What if I get it? I hear it. I sat in silence. I sat in a meditation. I was at a retreat. I received this download while I was driving, but I'm afraid to act on it. For some reason, that truth is not safe yet. It doesn't feel safe to you. This is why in the inner alchemy method, that is the very first thing that we do. We start with feeling safe in the body, feeling safe with ourselves, feeling safe to explore. If we haven't established safety here, my friend, it's going to be really hard to do the inner work. That is why it is the foundational piece in anything that I do. This is why I spend time every single week doing these breath works to help you start to feel safe here, to start to experience the stillness, the slowness in a way that feels more empowering to you, that feels more connected to yourself, so you can start to explore the things. If you're afraid to act on something, it's because it doesn't feel safe in some way, shape, or form. And so we've got to establish that safety. Once we establish the safety, then we go and explore. So here's what I want you to know, my friend. Your truth doesn't require you to abandon compassion. That's the healed version. That's the healed truth. What your soul really wants is for you not to abandon yourself. It's not give up on yourself. Truth doesn't have to feel like a weapon that we're going to pull out, but a peek into who we are. And who we are is a mirror. And what that mirror reflects back is your next liberation, your sovereignty. All right, my friend, we are going to get into our breath work for today. And today I invite you to release any stress, to release any doubts, to release any fears, to release any stories that are running in the back of your mind. My invitation for you today is to allow yourself to let go, to create space so that you can hear maybe one truth, maybe one insight, maybe one step that you can take now. So let's go ahead and get into a comfortable position where you can just be for a moment, closing your eyes, taking a nice deep breath in and letting it go. Once again, letting it go. Nice big breath deep into the belly. Letting it all go, allowing your grounding cord, your roots to drop down into Mother Earth, grounding you into this time, into this place, into this moment, right here, right now. Calling all aspects of you here. And you may feel, you may sense, you imagine your roots growing down deep into Mother Earth, your grounding cord plugging in to the core, to the center. Grounding you here, bringing you now. And you may sense, feel, or imagine the beautiful energy of rainbow hematite. And however that energy wants to come through for you, however that crystalline energy feels, you might imagine it, you might see it, you might call in your own rainbow hematite if you have it. Or maybe even just hematite if you know what that is. And if you don't, my friend, don't worry about it. I'm holding that container, I'm holding that energy for everyone here right now, for you. We're just going to feel that energy flowing up through our grounding cord, through the bottoms of our feet, in through our center column, our chakras, our energy field, our aura. It's going to begin to just start to clear out any gunk, anything blocking, any tears, any rips within our field. It's going to add a beautiful layer of protection in this really beautiful, peaceful, vibrant way. And you may start to feel the difference in your aura. You may sense it, you may imagine it, you may just know that it's happened as it's cleared away. And that rainbow hematite is going to plug any rips or tears, almost as if it's stitching, patching, and healing. Securing your field, protecting you here, and bringing your attention to the top of your crown, your head, top of your head, and opening up your channel to God our Father, the great I am, the divine source creation universe. And welcoming their presence here now. Opening yourself to receive guidance from the most high vibrational energy of love and light. We call upon God our Father, the great I am, the divine source creation universe, and we ask for your guidance, your support, your love, and protection as we move through our day. We call upon Mother Earth, Gaia, for your grounded, protected, supportive, comforting energy to wrap us 360 degrees in love and light and protection. We call upon our guides, our guardians, our angels, our spirit team, our divine high vibrational ancestors of love and light that are here for our greatest and highest good, to be with us on our journey, to guide us in our day, to protect us, to bring forward the signs, the synchronicities, the things that we are ready to become aware of in our world that are supporting our greatest and highest good. We call upon the guardians at the 4 watchtowers to stand in the 4 corners, the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, water, and the 4 directions, north, east, south, west, and our 4 archangels, Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Oriel, watching over, guiding, and protecting us, supporting us on our journey to release our stress, release our doubt, release our worry, release the outdated connections that are no longer serving our greatest and highest good, so that we may begin to hear, to feel, to receive, to know our truth. And we ask for this or greater, and so it is. Take a nice deep breath in, letting it go. Once again, nice deep breath in, letting it go. And one more time, nice deep breath in, getting ready to shift our breathing in through the mouth, out through the mouth, as we begin our breath work to clear out any stress, any doubts, any fears, anything that is taking up space within our bodies, within our minds, that is not serving our greatest and highest good. We release you now. Deep breaths in through the mouth, out through the mouth, deep into the belly. Let's go. Finding your own rhythm. Keep going. Allowing yourself to clear out, to use the broom, to use the breath as a broom, to make space, to let go. If your body wants to move, if it wants to make a sound, trust your body and how it wants to release and how it wants to let go. How is stress showing up for you right now? And how can you release it? 60 seconds, my friend. Letting it all go. Making space for your truth to come through. Ten more seconds. Keep going. Almost there. All right. Nice deep breath in. And letting it go. Getting ready for our next breath hold. Take another nice deep breath in. And letting this one go too. And on your next inhale, biggest breath you've taken so far today, holding it at the top. And connecting in with your truth. The one thing that your soul is ready to remember, is ready to acknowledge, is ready to bring into awareness. When you're ready to release that breath, letting that truth land even deeper within your mind, within your body, within your soul. And shifting that breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, nice and slow, slowing it down. As you elongate those exhales, feeling deeper into that truth, to that aha, to that insight or next step. How can the body allow this truth? Where does the body already know it? And what's the one thing that you can do to allow this truth to come through even deeper? Beautiful. I'm going to get ready for our last breath hold. So take a nice deep breath in and letting it all go. Once again, nice deep breath in and letting it all go. And then this next one, nice deep breath in, feeling it fully and completely, and letting it all go. And feeling into the stillness as you breathe it all out. And when you're ready to take that next breath in, breathe in gratitude. Gratitude for this time that you have taken for yourself. Gratitude for the truth that has been revealed. Gratitude for this opportunity to fully step in even more to that truth, to embody your truth. Beginning to bring your awareness back to this time, to this place, to the room you are in, and allowing the insights, the messages, the downloads, the ahas that you've received during our time today to solidify for you, remembering them so that you can choose how you now step through this world, stand in this world, allow yourself to be in this world. My friend, this is your invitation of soul patterning to meet resistance as a teacher, to let your truth take up space through your voice, through your body, through your work. And as we bring this time to an end, you don't need to have all the answers, my friend. Just start with what's real and let your truth lead. My friend, if you want to go deeper, be sure to grab our lunar journal or book a free inner authority call with me and allow me to be your guide, where we will bring your truth forward, where we will look at who is the inner authority, what is beneath the surface. You'll find links to the journal and to our inner authority of call down below in the comments. I would love to be your guide, my friend, if you feel called. Until next time, I invite you to remember who you are and to let your unique light shine.